Welcome to our module of Environmental Studies, Understanding the Basics. In today's topic, we will study about biodiversity, the levels of biodiversity, the types of biodiversity, and the importance of biodiversity in ecology. The word biodiversity, diversity in any way means the myriad different things that are present. Like India is a diverse country in religion, culture, people, languages, foods. Similarly, this earth has provided us with a lot of biodiversity in nature. In this topic, we shall delve further and cover biodiversity. Look at this image. We can see there are different types of birds, animals, people, little insects, and trees that are growing. All of these things from every level amount to biodiversity. These different people amount to biodiversity. These different animals amount to biodiversity. Those different insects amount to biodiversity. Biodiversity, you'll find it everywhere. Even if you just look around in your room, you will find different books, you will find different pens, you will find different pencils, you will find different bed sheets, you will find different furniture, you will find different crockery that your mother has got and decorated her house. Similarly, Mother Earth is decorated in its nature with different kinds of things. There's a variety of animals, plants, birds, fungi, microorganisms in this natural world. There's a lot of diversification starting from the level of kingdom, phylum, plants, organs, family, genus, species. All of these kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, starting from the level of kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, to coming as down as different species, to genes where no two humans are the same. There's a lot of variety in this world. Each of these species and organisms work together in ecosystems, like we studied in our previous topic. And a quick recap: in ecosystems, we have structural and functional units with abiotic and biotic components, which in an intricate web maintain and support life. Biodiversity supports everything in nature that we need to survive. The food we eat, the water we drink, the medicines that plants give us, and the shelter for animals and us as well. This diversity exists at different scales. It could be from a tiny level of a regional diversity to a brand and grand level of jungle diversity, ecosystem diversity, to again coming down to kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species level. And in different species, like Homo sapiens is a species, we have genetic diversity, that no two humans are the same. Biodiversity is not static and it's constantly changing. How does it change? It is changing by the evolutionary processes. And it's also reduced by processes like habitat degradation, population decline and extinction. We see the dodo is now extinct. We now see the great Indian bustard is at the level of extinction. How is this happening? Because we are hampering with the environment. So, the evolution that used to take place earlier, how we transformed from monkeys to humans, is no longer happening. Rather, things are at the verge of extinction. All of that is happening because of human intervention. To what? To biodiversity. Let's come and understand the levels and types of biodiversity. Genetic diversity, species diversity, ecological diversity. As we can see in these pictures, let's start from ecological diversity. Like we also studied different ecosystems. If you remember, there were two types of ecosystems. aquatic, terrestrial. Aquatic were again of two types, marine and freshwater. Terrestrial were again of so many types, grassland, forest, desert, taiga, tundra. All of that is diversity. Species diversity, as we can see in this picture, there are monkeys and there are dogs. There's a different variety in the types of animals. And then coming on the left side, the genetic diversity, all of these are bananas. All of these are bananas. None of them is the same. There's genetic diversity within the same species. Genetic diversity. It refers to the variations among genetic resources of the organisms. Every individual of a particular species differs from each other in its genetic constitution. That's why every human looks different from each other. Similarly, there's a different variety in the same species of rice, meat, wheat, maize, barley, etc. Where does this genetic diversity come from? From the process of evolution. There are two things an organism is composed of. Its genotype and its phenotype. The phenotype is what we see. The genotype is the genetic constitution of what's within. The DNA, the RNA, the genetic constitution. All of it is different. Look at the variety God has made. Species diversity. Species diversity refers to the variety of different types of species found in a particular area. It is the biodiversity at the most basic level. Why is it the most basic level? Let's do categorization from the level of kingdoms to species. It's kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So species is the most basic level, and there's a variety of different species found in a particular area. It includes all the species ranging from plants to different microorganisms. No two individuals of the same species are exactly similar. Example, humans show a lot of diversity among themselves. People of India have a lot of diversity. Now, ideally and technically, we are all Homo sapiens. But look at the diversity. Not even the twins have an identical genus system. Ecological diversity. An ecosystem is a collection of living and non-living organisms and their interaction with each other. Ecological diversity refers to the variations in the plants and animal species living together and connected by what we studied, those interlinkings, food chains and food webs. It is the diversity observed among different ecosystems like the deserts, rainforest, mangroves. I hope you remember when we studied the different types of ecological systems. Now, what's the importance of this diversity? Now, we know nature is blessed with this type of diversity, but what is the need? Why are no two humans similar? Why is there so much of species varieties? Why are there plants? Why are there animals? Why are there microorganisms? What is the importance of this biodiversity? Biodiversity is very important for sustaining life on Earth. Imagine there is sunlight, but there's no plants to convert that sunlight into food. There are no autotrophs. What will humans eat? Will we eat each other? Possibly, because in the absence of the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom cannot survive. And so is vice versa. If there's only plant kingdom, there would be an upsurge in the oxygen in the atmosphere with no one consuming and fixing carbon dioxide, leading to a downfall of ecology as a whole. So this diversity is there for a reason. And like we've studied before, nothing in this nature, absolutely nothing is happening for no reason at all. Everything is sustaining life on this earth. So the ecological reason behind this biodiversity is that every species has a specific role. Even that little ant has a role. Even that little bird has a role. Even those microbes that you cannot see have a role. Plants that capture and store energy and produce food, the decomposers that decompose everything have a role. The ecosystem supports the services without which no human can survive. A diverse ecosystem is more productive and can withstand environmental stress. Now, where diversity is less, that ecosystem is prone to stress. We will see that in areas where the plants are depleting, the trees are being cut, the water levels in the ground have fallen, there's a lot of environmental stress. The animals are dying because of drought, they are dying because they cannot graze anywhere. So where there's diversity, the environment is more productive, there's less stress. The second reason why biodiversity is important is an economical reason. The nature, the biodiversity, is a reservoir of resources for the manufacture of food, cosmetic products, pharmaceuticals, medicines, crops, fishery, forest, and whatnot. You name one thing that you consume and that does not have a direct or indirect link with the nature. You might think that the Coke you drink, the Pepsi that you have, has got nothing to do with nature, but the amount of groundwater that is being used to make carbonated drinks is humongous. You might think that the leather bags and leather shoes that you are wearing has no incoming from the nature, but it does. So many animal skin has been used. You might think that the aqua purified water that you drink has no impact on the environment, but the water that's going in the drain upon purification has a lot of impact. So all the things that we get, from cosmetic drinks, cosmetic products, to food, to drinks, to pharmaceuticals, to medicines, to wood, to fiber, to perfumes, to oils, rubbers, resins, everything is coming from the nature. There's a big economical reason. Third reason for biodiversity is an ethical reason. All species have a right to exist. We were sent on this planet not merely to come and exploit the natural resources that God has provided us with. We have a moral responsibility towards other diverse things present on this earth, to let them exist. It has to be a peaceful cohabitation. Humans should not cause extinction of other species. Humans should not hunt. Humans should not overexploit. There's an ethical reason. Biodiversity preserves different cultures and spiritual heritage. There are so many tribes in India. There are so many tribes in India who still thrive on forest produce, who have no being in cities, who have no being even in the villages. They are in the forest, they are the forest dwellers. We have a responsibility towards those to preserve their culture and their spiritual heritage. It's very important to conserve biodiversity. Before ending this topic, let's come back to from where we started. The levels, the types, and ecological importance of biodiversity. The word itself says bio, meaning living, diversity, meaning the variety. The earth is possibly the only planet sustaining life, and what could be the reason apart from the fact that we are at a very equisafe distance from the sun, that our magnetic poles are very apt? What could be the other reason that we are still surviving through all these billions of years? Since the Big Bang theory? The reason is simple. The answer is in one word. It's biodiversity. If there was only one animal, if there was only one kind of plant, the sustenance of life at this level would not have been possible. It's biodiversity in every little form that's supporting life till today. And it is the depletion of this very same biodiversity that we are having extinction of various endangered species today. It's this biodiversity that is sustaining life on this earth. Imagine there are no aquatic animals because the water is so polluted. Imagine there are no crops growing because the soil is so polluted. Imagine the birds are dying because they cannot have clean air to breathe. Do you think life is still possible in the next 100 years? I feel even 100 is a lot. It's not possible. Till the time the diversity exists is the time till when we have a stress-free environment, is the time till which life is sustained on this earth. What is the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals agenda? It's the very same. It's about conserving this biodiversity. It is about maintaining a healthy coexistence with all the different plants, animals, microbes, herbs, trees, shrubs, to have a peaceful coexistence, to increase the longevity of everything that's present on the earth. We humans think that we are the most superior thing on this earth and we can do whatever we want. No. You are one little part of this big biodiversity. You cannot take away the right of other things that are present to live. You cannot be holier than thou and say that you are the only one who is going to use all the fossil fuels, all the oxygen, all the water. No. We have to leave everything for the current other organisms and for the future generations as well. We have to be mindful. The biodiversity that is there in the forms of animals, plants, microorganisms, bacteria, fungi. Once even a little fungi goes extinct, we can say that the environmental stress will increase because the decomposition will somehow suffer, because of which the nutrients to the plants will suffer, because of which the producers will reduce, because of which the consumers will have less food to eat, because of which the solar energy will not be consumed, because of which the heat radiations will remain in the atmosphere, because of which ultimately the life, the sustenance will keep falling. So this balance of biodiversity, the intricate web that exists, the food chains that exist, the food web that exists, the energy flows that exist, the nutrient cycles, the water cycle that exists, everything is important to maintain and support life. Now, as we saw, that biodiversity has an economical reason as well. The loss of biodiversity is not therefore just an environmental issue. It will affect the food that we eat. It will affect that the economy that our country is living on. It will affect everything globally. A striking example of the loss of biodiversity can be seen in the Western Ghats of India, which is one of the 8 hottest hotspots of biological diversity in the world. The Western Ghats in India have a lot of biodiversity. What is a hotspot? A hotspot in the terms of biodiversity is a place which has a lot of endemic species to it. It's a biological diversity rich place in the world, one of the 8 richest in the world. It is rich in endemic species of plants, animals and birds. The region has been under severe pressure now. Why? Because of illegal mining, because of deforestation, and because of urban encroachment. The process of deforestation is causing the loss of so many species in the Western Ghats, which once were the hotspot in the world with a lot of variety, that even Now the UNESCO has declared it as a heritage site so that conservation efforts can be made. It is now declared as an eco-sensitive zone. Why? Because we wouldn't stop. Urban encroachments were being made in the Western Ghats. Deforestation was being done at the Western Ghats with no signs of afforestation again. And illegal mining was being done in the Western Ghats, that the UNESCO had to interfere and say that no, don't do this. It's a heritage site now. They had to give it that tag of declaring it as a heritage site so that these fragile ecosystems are not being exploited and are protected. So what does this example of the Western Ghats teach us? That an area which is so rich and diverse can still fall dead if we continue to do our human encroachments on it. This case highlights the urgent need for local action, for global action, and for good governance to conserve biodiversity. It's a collaborative approach coming from the governments, the communities, the industries, people like you and me to help this biodiversity thrive. Because saving biodiversity is not just about preserving wildlife, it's also about sustaining a healthy environment which is livable for all generations to come. The choices that we will make today will have a huge impact on how we live tomorrow. In this drive to be urban, to be infrastructurally modern, develop so many roads and mega roads, we must not kill the biodiversity that's sustaining. Now, we might take an example of a tree. We might think it's just a tree. No. On that trunk, there are so many little insects thriving. On its branches have so many birds their nests. On its leaves, there are so many budding flowers and fruits. In its roots are so many microorganisms. So cutting just one tree kills a whole ecosystem. Let's not do that, because biodiversity is very important for sustaining life on Earth. Let's make ourselves vigilant enough to conserve biodiversity. The choices that we make should be very mindful of the impact that it has. We have to be ecologically, economically, and ethically very sound and leave this earth in a habitable space when we go. With that, the topic of biodiversity comes to an end. We shall now meet for the next topic, which is human-environment relationship, ecological imbalance. The reasons of why we are losing so many things. But let's not go there already. With this ends the topic of biodiversity. We did a case study of Western Ghats and the impact that it has had. With these conscious thoughts, let's save biodiversity. See you in the next topic.